Nice work. Well, you mentioned getting older in the sport, Chris, and I guess your ideas change. The things that drive you on in the sport change as well, don't they?
Well, it becomes a balance too, because you have, for myself, I have wife and kids, and there's a much stronger desire to be around home. At 23, at the age these guys were, I was traveling around the world and doing all that. Home is just where the next bed is, basically, and you enjoy all the travels and soak in all the experiences and gain loads and loads of experience. And these guys are getting a lot of it early, and they are way more talented than anybody I've seen at their age.
Yeah, it's a very different world these days in the sport of tenpin bowling. 90 countries plus entered into the last World Cup. It just shows you that the appeal and the spread of the sport is reaching worldwide. As Paul Moor doubles up, it's looking very good now for him.
Well, you could tell he actually missed the pocket within the last couple of shots. He almost watched that one all the way to the pins before he knew it was a strike. So
he's a real scholar at his ball. He'll glean any bit of information he can. Oh dear. Well, we're getting pretty close to last chance saloon now for Alex Liew, aren't we?
Yes, he doesn't look very comfortable right now. The last shot was light. This shot looks really good. He's pretty surprised that didn't go high flush and get him a leg up on the 11 bagger that I think he needed.
Yeah, that just shows you the quality of this tournament. You're talking about needing 11 baggers to win games. Paul Moor comes out. He's on for a 5-6-5 if he strikes out from here, and that's going to be a 62 pin advantage come the end of this match. So Alex Liew has to start striking, that's for sure. Paul Moor is going to have to make a couple of mistakes, and at the moment you can't see that happening.
I think the good part for Paul is he's further right than Alex is right now, which means his laydown area won't change much. He shouldn't see too many more moves from the rest of the match.
Yeah, he liked it right from the off. And once again, he's back to not having to look at the ball going into the pins.
Just rock solid. When he posts up shots like that, there's not very many mistakes.
As we said, a very consistent character. He's the same day in, day out whenever you see him, and that benefits him out on the lanes. Alex Liew, very similar in personality, but he's just not getting the breaks at the moment. But I think he'd probably be the first to acknowledge he's not bowled particularly well either.
Well, that, and Paul has forced his hand significantly. He made a ball change here, knowing that he has to throw pretty much all the rest of the strikes to have a chance. And all you can do at this point is make your best guess. And that's a pretty good shot, but it hooked a little more than he thought.
Liew picks up another spare, but it's a pretty lonely place for him up on that stage at the moment. What would the PBA make of Paul Moor?
Well, it certainly wouldn't be mincemeat. Paul's got tons of game, and he is every bit as talented as the players on the PBA Tour. When Jason Couch came over here for the Weber Cup, Paul got the best of him most of the time here. And those two players certainly have some distinct differences in their games, but Paul is good enough to beat anybody out there, especially given a little bit of experience and some time to learn the transitions and the different things over there, as well as the travel and being in a different country. And that's probably the biggest obstacle for him, is finding someone to room with, enjoy his time over there, and make it a little bit easier being so far away from home.
Yeah, it's a pretty brutal environment. Everybody trying to win week in, week out. You're not going to get that much help. Paul Moor, though, puts away that spare and just admonishes himself with a little tap on the leg. He wasn't happy not closing out for a 4-bagger. At least Liew knows now that his opponent is infallible. He doesn't strike all the time.
just when he needs to.
That's it. Always important. You then can't buy a strike for love nor money at the moment.
Another ball change. And that one hooked a lot less than the other one did.
It's just pure frustration, isn't it, Chris, at this point?
And that's really the difference. When you're bowling at someone that is putting so much pressure on you, the ball he was throwing, he probably could have shot 470 possibly. Kind of grinded. It wasn't the perfect ball, but it was close enough to shoot a pretty good number. But 470 is not going to be close to winning this match.
Open frame for Alex Liew. That may have closed the lid on this one. I know there's a long way to go in this game, but the destination is totally in Paul Moor's hands from now.
Well, Paul only needs a 203 at this point, with Alex's max score being 467 and Paul shooting 265 the first game. And Paul is already on a 219 pace.
The stats for Alex Liew, not what he would have wanted in this match. More than to try and get back on the strike trail. No, not going to happen this time. He's left the 9.
Judging by the look on his face, he liked this shot quite a bit. It's another shot that's picked up a little bit, and it's time to make probably his last move of the match. Another one board move to the right, and from then on he should be good to go.
Comfortable spare, but that's 2 9 spares in a row for Moore, so his maximum aggregate score just dropping down a little, but he still isn't really in any trouble in this match, and Alex Liew has to ask some questions, and it's got to start now. Well, you just feel for the guy, don't you?
He went back to his original ball and looks like he moved left, trying to find a little bit more friction early in the lane. But both he and Paul started further to the right, so that portion of the lane is actually slicker now than when it started.
Good effort, just unlucky not to take out those remaining pins, but the 4 and the 7 stay standing. And Alex Liew, with another open frame, is in serious trouble. And that's the problem with this quick format. It goes so fast, and the players obviously realise very quickly that they're going to be going home a little sooner than you would in normal regulation 10-pin bowling. Well, he can't seem to find his way in.
A little surprised. I thought that would be just a small move, and he looked surprised too. Eventually, I guess he did make the move and saw even more friction than he anticipated. But at this point, it's just a learning experience for both of them, and he'll take whatever he gleans from these last couple of frames and applies it towards his next match, where he may bowl another left-hander.
Dominic Barrett and Remy Ong involved in the last quarter-final. Another tough one to call. Dominic Barrett, the young Englishman, coming through very well against a tough opponent from the USA. We've got to say something about Deandra Asbadi. What a performance from her.
Yeah, she got off to a tough start that first game, and Dominic really took it to her with that 260, I think it was a 269 game right out of the